That dude surprised me with that shit, man. Like when I saw Aubrey and Preach do that video about, what's his name, Fresh?
Yeah.
Like how he was simple with that chick. I couldn't believe that
That shit ain't surprised me nothing.
I know it didn't surprise me. I'm just saying how he don't see that shit.
Right. Yeah.
How he really thought this chick was really for him. It's like, man.
See, again, I think it ties back to, like, again, a lot of these men in this quote-unquote manosphere, you could just tell the experience is not there before they became who they became.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a situation where you got a dude who wasn't really getting chose like that, wasn't really interacting with attractive women like that, and now all of a sudden, overnight, he's famous, and now chicks are throwing it at him. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to go in that with a bit less discipline than somebody who done been used to getting that all their life. Like he might not have been getting 12s, but he was getting 9s all his life. So he used to attractive women. So you're not gonna be able to finesse me like she did him. Like that was just blatant finesse. 1 month of talking and you damn near in love. He said everything except I'm in love.
But what's so weird about the audience though is like he'll say something like that and everybody in the comments is cap. But you still watching the show, you know what I mean? So like
yeah,
it's just such a weird dynamic. It's almost as if some people are watching it just for the spectacle. And
Absolutely.
When you talk about Manosphere content, you would assume that a lot of it is going to be educational.
Right.
But it's starting to now move into the more entertainment space, and that's what I'm seeing over there. It's a lot of more entertainment, which is good because you're going to need some of that as well if you want to ever go to the next level eventually. But it's a little strange how they have it so that some of the people understand that it's not necessarily legit all the way in terms of their personas or what they say and what they preach. And that was one of the things that I appreciated about DJ Academics, because at least he held everybody accountable.
Right.
He was completely honest in the situation, and I think he took the words out of my mouth. If you say you're going to live this type of way and you got an audience where you talking to millions of potentially younger guys, you got older guys too, and they looking at you as a person that's going to be able to tell them what to do in terms of their next steps.
Right.
You kind of got to live by that. And if you don't, you got to get called out. And that's another person that I really respect that do that often is TLA. Yeah. He's really he does a good job at calling people out when they BS and giving people their flowers when they doing a good job.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to TLA.
For real.
Which is what I was going to ask. I was thinking about that while you was talking. How important is it for your real life to actually reflect the message? And if it's not, does that jade the message to you in your mind, even if it's the truth?
I think you got to live it.
Yeah.
To me personally, but that just comes from a person that I consider myself to be authentic. Now, other people can look at me and think whatever they want, but I'm going to try to do what I do and what I believe I'm doing to be right. If I know I'm preaching a message that I'm not living, I can't do that me personally.
Right.
Other people can do that. That's cool for the money. The money's great. I get it, but that's not something that I can do. So I think the morals are 100% important. And I think just long term, you pick up on that kind of stuff. If you want longevity, people want to deal with real people nowadays. We tired of being bullshitted. So longevity in terms of having good connections with other people, we want to see a real person. We don't want to see a persona. We get it. Like they done that already. The personas are done. That's why things like podcasts are doing so well, because they're authentic. Like what we're doing right now. This is a conversation that we just having. Right. You know what I'm saying? So like this is the authentic stuff that people want nowadays. They don't want anything scripted. They don't want no personas. You could watch daytime TV for that, and that's why it's dying. Nobody want to watch that. Yeah,
and then too, it's all about the passion too, man. You can actually see the passion when somebody's actually living what they speak.
Right.
It flows better, and then you actually get to give them a real life scenario, real life situation based off experience. Right. But if you haven't experienced it, it's scripted. It's not real. So, and I think you can see how people are uncomfortable in a space when they talk about certain things. Even if you do have, let's just say you have a panel, right, and somebody begins to talk about something, you can just see the other person getting a little bit uncomfortable. Yep. Because they don't want to speak on it.
Yeah.
So it shows. I think you have to be 100% authentic. Otherwise, you just fake out here.
You know what I equated to? I equated to sports. I talked about this recently. Like experts, analysis, whatever the case may be. Like they have them all over ESPN. A lot of these people never played the game at all. But I've been studying it for 20 to 30 years. And again, what they saying may be right, but it gets a little different when somebody like a Shannon Sharp sits next to you. Somebody that's a Hall of Famer that done lived this, experienced this, know the ins and outs of the game. Yeah, you may know defense, but he done actually played the game. So it's like he can go into more detail in terms of like what the aspects of this stuff really is. And I think in the Manosphere it's the same thing. You got a lot of dudes out here that, again, wasn't really getting attention before they was famous, or wasn't really interacting with women. So it's like, how can you give me advice? And even though a lot of them are giving out stats, like, 60% of women do this, 70% of women do that, but it's different when it's somebody that's actually going through it, and he giving you that detailed, authentic, you ain't even really got to use that many numbers for real. Yeah. And he gonna still be able to get his point across the right way. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's easy to spot the difference, man. It's easy.
I think I'm gonna take a different approach, just a slight approach. I definitely feel that everything should be 100% authentic and real. However, we in the social media era, like, that's just what it is today. Mm-hmm. Whether it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, what I'm saying, all these social media outlets, some people are just trying to find ways to feed themselves, provide for their family. So I feel like in some cases, as long as it's not extreme, and, because you are an influencer at a certain point whenever you get, all these followers. So I feel like some people, it's okay to fake it till you make it, because they try and do what they got to do to get up top. Now after that, they can talk about their growing experiences and the things that they should have done or could have done, but I think just a little bit of, I feel like a little bit of fakeness is needed, only because that's what drives, views and things like that. Like all the crazy shit, all the pranks people do, and like all the like you said, low hanging fruit. You bringing on women onto a podcast who don't know much about nothing, but they just pretty as hell, and you have a conversation with them, make them look crazy, and people, that's what I'm talking about.
Champion
like this, they not shit. So I mean, to an extent, I feel like it's needed, but then again, I'm always, and everybody, I think, will always respect the real.
And the catch is, the same dudes that's in the comments doing all that, same dudes subscribing.
Facts.
And I think it was Myron was talking about that on a different show. I think it was on No Jumper podcast. He was saying, we'll have these shows with these women, and these dudes will be saying, oh, she's a whatever, she don't look good, she's a bimbo, we don't want to deal with her. Fast forward 30 minutes after the show, now you got 300 new subscriptions. I wonder where that came from. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes, and I think you made a really good point, because when it comes to this social media stuff, you want to be authentic, but to some degree, you got to play the game.
You got to cater, that's true.
And a lot of people don't give credit to people that are good at playing the game. And I don't want to have to say this, but Brittany Renner is an example of a woman that's good at playing the game. Right. There's plenty. I could throw a rock right now and hit a woman outside that want to just sleep with successful men, and that probably can get in those areas. Right. But can you turn that into a career? Right. And that takes a certain persona. That takes a team. That takes a PR team that tells you sometimes what to do and what not to do. And it takes a certain level of articulation. You got to be able to put your thoughts out there and be brave enough to accept whatever come with that. And I think that she's catered to her audience, which is predominantly women that are trying to do the same activity she's doing. And so anytime she's under attack, she has a core audience that she can always lean back on. And that's strategic to me, like Fresh and Fit even. No matter what they say or do, they have a core audience that if we talk about this, I'm sure we're going to see them in the comments. Right. We're going to see them in the comments. They're going to be, oh, what are y'all clout chasing? What's clout chasing? That's the new thing. And I'm like, I'm doing the news. Right. Like, you wouldn't call Fox News clout chasing for talking about Donald Trump. Like, that's just part of what we do. So why am I clout chasing for talking about a situation that happened in the Manosphere? Right. Right. So it's just a weird balance. I think you're right. I think it is a balance that you have to have. And I think Fresh and Fit have done a good job at finding out what they need to do to please their audience. Just like Brittany Renner kind of found out what she needs to do to please her audience. So,
I got a question for y'all. Like, as content creators, people that's built platforms, how much sense of responsibility do you feel like you have to your listeners, right? Because I know, just an example, like us when we was first starting out, we was just talking very reckless. Now it was truth, but we was talking very reckless and like kind of biased a bit. But then as the following builds and we getting these people writing in, hey man, I'm 17, I'm 18, I'm going through this, I'm trying to figure this out, that caused us to kind of, okay, we need to take this a bit more serious. We can't just be saying things for shock value or like faking or playing the game too much. So don't get me wrong, you definitely got to play the game for sure. But some of these dudes be going a little far in terms of playing. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like as content creators, we got a responsibility to our listeners, because it's a lot of young dudes out here, a lot of young women out here that's coming to us for real advice. Like, we got an advice column, people be writing in, saying all kind of shit. Like, I've been married 20 years and we got 3 kids. Now I'm trying to navigate this dating game and I done been out of for 20. So they really depending on us. So I ask y'all, how important is the sense of responsibility to the listeners compared to playing the game?
I want to say this, and I'm gonna tell y'all about a real life situation, right, that I've experienced. There's always going to be somebody that says you need to do this, you need to do that, but then you be surprised on the back end when you have somebody that tell you, let's say, hey, me and my wife watch you guys all the time, and you guys are helping us tremendously.
Right.
Or when we was just out, a couple days ago, you guys are making an impact on our lives. So then you start to think like, damn, like, should I really change what I'm already doing? I think that you have to be who you are when you enter. You have to be the same person, but you still have to be able to make the experience better. To me, it's all about the experience, what people are doing. And how you level up is by going out and experiencing, talking to more people, reading more, putting more information in your head so that you can spit this out, making sense to everybody, having an open mind to hearing different perspectives. When I hear you guys, and the reason why I respect you guys is because you guys bring a unique perspective that I never heard. And so me having an open mind, being able to listen to you guys, I'm like, So then I start putting things together, and then I generate new information to put out there.
Right.
So it's just about bringing a like minds together that has the drive, and then being able to understand that we are making a difference despite what people may say. So you can't feed into the few people. As long as you have constant people that are in the comments, that are DMing you, that are walking up to you saying that you guys are changing my life, I think that's all the momentum that you need to keep doing what you're doing.
Sure.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it's just like, if you ain't got loyalty to your fans or the people that's watching you, what do you got loyalty to? Money?
Yeah.
Is that what you loyal to money? Because money don't care about nobody.
Right.
And we like to believe that this is going to be long term, but at any given moment, you know, it could all change so quickly. So if you're not loyal to your audience and they see that, then what are you going to stand on when it get rocky? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And there's this line, this weird line that you got to be careful of, because when you start chasing the money, it changes you. The dude, I don't know if y'all remember this scenario or the situation that happened maybe a couple months ago. Dude in the Manosphere was talking about some, I was dating a chick, she was 16. I mean, this dude about 30-something years old. I slept with her a couple times. Bro.
Wow.
What are you talking about, sir?
Yeah.
You finna mess the whole party up. We all over here grown men having conversations that are productive towards where we want to go and where other people want to go, and giving people decent advice. And you over here talking about some other stuff that everybody's going to use as fuel of the fire to already hate us when they want to already. Right. You know what I mean? We can't get these people any ammunition. And this is the line that you teeter on. And he said his excuse, and the reason I brought that up on that line is because his excuse for it was that he wanted to see if it could go viral. That's why he told the story. That's why he talked about him sleeping with a 16-year-old girl until she was 21 years old. Jesus Christ. Come on, what are you doing, bro? You a grown man. That's disgusting. We all know that as grown men. But other people that want to hate us is going to use that as fuel to the fire. And that's what happens when you chase money. That's the end result. If you don't have any loyalty, especially to your fans, the people that come and watch your content every day, the people that take the time out of their day, whether they be at work or whatever they're doing, to listen to you speak. I got like 28 million views on my channel now total. That's a blessing. That means 28 million people decided to look at me, sit down in front of a camera, ain't nothing but my head and shoulders, and I'm just talking shit. You know what I mean? So like, that's something that I don't take that for granted, and I don't take it lightly. I feel like I have a responsibility to those people. So,
and that's it. And that's why it's so important for people with platforms like ours to hold people that's falling out of line responsible. Like, we got to hold them accountable for a lot of this shit that we be seeing. Just like that situation right there. It's good that you calling him out on that, because a lot of these, you know, corners or whatever the case may be, they'll let shit like that fly just in the honor of the quote unquote manosphere or whatever. But when you got real ones in this thing, like, we got to police it. We got to make sure that the message that's getting out to these people that's listening to us is pure.
Thanks.
And don't get me wrong, like, I understand, you know, as far as the stats, like, because when you building the platform, whatever, when you first started, it's just for the love, just for the genuine me, just getting my opinion out, and then you get a little bigger and you start paying more attention to the numbers. And it takes discipline to be able to say, you know what, okay, this video may not go as far as I think it'll go, but the message is going to be way more important than those views.
Yeah, that's the one.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's how we keep this thing pure, man. We got to hold each other accountable, and that's why I respect y'all so much, because when I chop it up with y'all, even off camera, you could just tell the genuineness.
Like off top, from the door.
Right.
For real.
Straight up.
And that stuff you can't, you know what I'm saying, compare.
Yeah, like, because when we got in here, we wasn't talking about, oh, this going to get the most numbers, or we going to do this, we going to do this.
Hey, you got to do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like.
It's not that, bro. It's just, real one sitting down, just having a conversation based on what it is that we see out here. And it needs to be more of that and us policing. Real rap.
And just because we all, not us, but just because we may disagree with you, don't mean that we beefing. Anything
Right.
like that.
Right.
It just is what it is. We just calling out. It's either truth or it's not. You know what I'm saying? You telling a lie or you pandering. It's just one of those. Just because we talk about it don't mean we trying to clout chase or we trying to get some views or nothing like that, man. It's just being real, having real conversations, calling out what it is, and we talking about it. That's it. And
Yeah.
you take that personal, that's on you.